This is a custom sticker, and this is a custom label. Both are printed on vinyl and have a matte finish.
Hi, I'm Mark with Pro Acoustics. This is Tech Talk. And today we're going to be talking about PTZ cameras. Live streaming cameras can provide an easy-to-use system to allow you to record video and audio for worship services, sports events, conferences, any kind of event where you might need to put that content online for other people to see. A PTZ camera and a kit similar to what I've got in front of me might be what you need to use. Some of you might be asking, what is a PTZ camera? Well, let's break down the name just for a second. P, T, and Z stands for pan, tilt, and zoom. PTZ optics camera that I have right here in front of me, as you can see, can pan, scroll across sideways. It can tilt up and down. Usually it's limited by a certain degree. And then inside of the camera here, once you take this cap off, it's able to zoom in, sometimes up to 50 feet without any kind of issues. What makes these stand apart from your typical webcam is, one, the features, two, the quality. These are 100% HD quality out the box. No question about whether or not your image is going to be crisp and clear. These cameras will do that for you. Setting them up is fairly easy. They come with their own software. You can even integrate them with a video software of your own if you have it. A lot of these cameras and their software allow you to take certain presets and save them for later. So if you're doing a podcast or a webcast every week and you're using the same kind of setup, you don't have to go in and readjust your settings time after time. You can just go in, select your presets, make sure that everything's still in place from last time, click start, and you're usually ready to go at that point. Another advantage to a PTZ optics camera versus a standard webcam is because it has those adjustments, you don't have to worry about making adjustments or placing another camera somewhere to get the right shot. Sometimes you can get multiple shots from a single camera, and a single user can go in there and make those adjustments themselves. You can either use a keyboard like what I've got here in front of me. They will have a lot of times quick commands assigned to keys, or you can use a controller like the HuddleCam HD, which is over here to my left. This will allow you to make certain changes to the direction that the camera's facing, either moving it up or down, left or right, and then you can also make rotational adjustments to pan as well. Another advantage to PTZ cameras is that you don't have to have a separate cameraman. It used to be whenever you were looking for a broadcast of, say, a church service, you would see a cameraman with a big over-the-shoulder kit walking around. You usually have a boom mic, somebody carrying the small portable mixer with them, and that's gone. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Now you can route all of your audio into an audio interface, so you don't need the boom mic. You've already got mics that the pastor's using or the presenter's using. And then these cameras can be strategically placed throughout the room. You can have your presets loaded into your computer, or you can have somebody manning the controller to make the adjustments on the fly. So whenever you get one of these camera kits, the PTZ optics kit is obviously going to come with 1, 2, or 3 of their cameras. And these will have anywhere from a 10 times zoom up to a 30 times zoom. And on the back of these cameras, you will find multiple connections. Some of them have LAN connections. This is not PoE. For that, you would need a separate adapter. But HDMI, USB, they got 2.0. Some of them have got USB 3.0. And then you've got your old RS-232 connections, which you don't see on many computers today, but if you're using an older system, you might find that helpful. And they've also got the 3G SDI connection as well. Some other things that you're going to find inside this kit is a remote. You can control this camera with the remote. It has a bunch of presets already on the buttons here, like a zoom, a slow, speed it up. You can set presets to the number keys. You can also select which camera you're using. So if you have up to 4 cameras, you can select which camera you're controlling with the press of a button. This kit also comes with a small audio interface. This is the Shure MVI XLR 1/4 inch. And the reason they call it the XLR 1/4 inch is it comes with a nice combo jack there. You route your audio signal from your existing audio mix into this. You send the signal over USB to your computer, and then you're hooking up your audio right into your video broadcasting software. If you have the SDI connection, this is a very helpful tool. This is your Magwell USB Capture SDI. It will take your SDI signal from your camera and then transfer that into a USB signal that can be easily sent to your computer. Another piece that you're going to find inside the kit is this USB hub. This allows for 7 USB devices, all to be routed out through one USB port. Finally, what we're going to find probably most useful in this kit is this controller. This is the HuddleCam HD. This allows you to connect to your camera and control it via this RS-232 serial connection. Whenever you plug this into your camera, you're going to get a few different presets. Right here you've got your different cameras that you can select at a push of a button. You can adjust your speed. You can go back and you can do your different operating recalls. These buttons each can be programmed to a different setting or to a different shot on the camera itself. So if you press 1, maybe that's a zoom in on the presenter. 2 would be like a wide angle. 3, you could set it to pan from left to right. So whatever you program in there, you can set up with these different buttons. The camera that I have right here in front of me is actually the PTZ Optics 20x SDI. It's a 1080p camera with 20 times optical zoom. It does HD images. It's great for long distances, but it can get up close if you need it to. It's got the SDI connection, like I mentioned earlier, with HDMI. It can also go over IP streaming. If you've got a network adapter, you can route all of the signal via an Ethernet cable and back to your computer. It's got 60.7 degrees wide angle lens. It works well in both a well-lit area and low light. It'll make adjustments via the software that's included. It does a 2D and 3D noise reduction. is capable of doing PoE, but you need to have the PoE adapter, so just keep that in mind for all of you network guys. And it is photo booth capable, so you can set it up as a photo booth. So once you get all this equipment out and you start routing your USB connections, a lot of you are going to ask, well, how do I get it to work? There's an included software for controlling the PTZ optics camera, but you'll also likely want to get yourself a broadcasting software. You can use something like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut, but if you don't have the money for one of those programs, I usually just recommend going and taking a look at OBS, which is Online Broadcast System. And it's a free software. It's very easy to use. Everything's on the web page. You can set up multiple scenes and shots right there from the software itself. You won't be able to control the camera in the software, so you'll need to have the camera control software running at the same time, so make sure your computer can handle that. But it does make it extremely easy to upload the finished product onto a web page, such as YouTube or Facebook, or if you've got a blog page. Some different ways that you might consider mounting this camera. Obviously, you can place it on a desk just like I have it here. They do have kits for wall mounting, for ceiling mounting. You can also hang it under a balcony. You can hang it from a truss. Really, anywhere that you're going to get the shot that you want, we've probably got a mounting system that'll work well with this camera and ensure that you can get that shot time after time. Finally, these cameras come in a variety of different quality settings. You have your SD, which is a standard definition. You have your HD, which has 1920 pixels across, and then you have your 4K, which has 4,000 pixels all the way across. It really depends on what you're shooting. Is video quality the most important thing to you? Then you might want a 4K camera. If you just need to get the image out there and it's more important that they're able to hear and make a relation to who's speaking, an HD or an SD camera setting might work for you. Okay, so that's all that I have on PTZ cameras and this PTZ optics setup today. I'm Mark with Pro Acoustics. If you have any questions, go ahead and stop by the website, proacoustics.com. Me or one of the other engineers can help you out. This has been Tech Talk. Have a great day.
Dependability. It's a reputation you've earned from doing things the right way. You show up on time, live up to your word, and get the job done with a smile. And to keep the promises you make, you depend on partners and products you can trust. At AMP, we offer landscape lighting systems for any style or application, and we engineer all of our lighting fixtures to stand the test of time. Each fixture we manufacture is made from solid brass, making them strong, durable, and beautiful. Which is why we stand behind each brass fixture we sell with a lifetime warranty. We believe that to make the best lighting systems, you need the best team. At AMP, every single employee is dedicated to providing you with the best customer service. From ensuring your orders arrive within 3 days by having 3 fully stocked shipping facilities, to having all support calls go directly to one of our in-house representatives without having to go through any voice menus. We're constantly pushing the boundaries of landscape lighting. All of our fixtures are engineered and tested by our in-house production development team. Utilizing the latest technology, our team is able to develop reliable products with innovative features, designed to make your job easier and faster. We do all of this, so at that perfect moment when the lights come on night after night, your client is happy with your work. For beautiful landscape lighting that's easy to install and will last a lifetime, there is only one choice: AMP.
Hi, this is Mark with Pro Acoustics, and today we're going to talk about acoustic treatments. Acoustic treatments are basically foam panels. Sometimes they've got fiberglass, perforated wood with fabric lined over them. And the whole point of acoustic treatments is to reduce the reverb and echo in your space. So if you ever walk into a gym and you start talking and realize that the sound is bouncing around all over the place, you can't necessarily hear the person next to you, acoustic treatments can help with the intelligibility of the conversations that you're having to make sure that You're able to be heard, your announcers are able to be heard, and the person next to you can have a conversation with you without having to ask what a bunch of times. So just a few different places that can benefit from acoustic treatments. A lot of times we see them obviously in gymnasiums, sometimes in churches, retail stores, grocery stores. I've seen them in bars, hotels, even classrooms can benefit from it. So what are a few different kinds of acoustic treatments? Well, you've got
Well, hey everybody. Live streaming continues to be a thing and continues to progress at a pretty fast rate. There are new technologies and products coming online pretty much every day, it seems. And if you're thinking about upgrading, maybe going to multi-camera or maybe going to a PTZ camera, like my Honey Optics 4K here, which is really become my go-to camera. This is a great camera. There are some things that you should know about, and one of the exciting things that you should know about is just 3 simple letters. It's called NDI, and it's a technology that's actually been around for a little while, but is really gaining popularity and traction because it solves a lot of problems. One of the biggest problems that it solves is cabling. So if you've looked at cameras like this, you know on the back there are all kinds of port options for you, because you have basically 3 different things that you need to do with this camera. One, you need to provide power to it. So most of them have a conventional kind of AC adapter. 2, you need to control it. By far the most popular way to do that is over your existing data network. So it's got an Ethernet jack on it. And of course you need to get the video out of it to whatever it is you're streaming on. So it has, amongst some like legacy ports that are very seldomly used, we have things like an SDI port, which is kind of the standard cabling and port setup for kind of professional grade stuff, and then an HDMI port that anybody who's ever plugged anything to a television is familiar with. Now, what does that mean? It means wherever you put this thing, you gotta be able to run a lot of cables to it. Or do you? There's actually another way that I think is just super slick and will let you get into multi-camera live streaming for the cost of the cameras and a computer, and that's it. No hardware switch, no ATM Mini, no Sling Studio, none of that stuff. You can have it if you want, but if you just want to start, all you need is a pretty decent computer, and we'll talk about that in a minute, what I mean by that, and a camera, and 1 cable, and maybe 1 accessory. So the magic happens over this guy. So this is an Ethernet cable. This is the same thing you would use in your computer networks now. And it's actually capable of carrying more than just data, because the cameras can receive what's called power over Ethernet, PoE, or more specifically PoE plus. They require a little more amperage and wattage to run, so they actually need PoE plus. But with PoE plus, you can deliver power over your Ethernet cable along with data. So you get those 2, you get control and you get power, but what about getting the video out? Well, turns out there is a technology called NDI. So you want to look for a camera that says specifically that it supports NDI. But an NDI camera is going to be the network device interface, is actually a way of getting high quality video off of your camera and into your computer using nothing but your existing data network. Now, it's going to be best if you have like a gigabit network in your venue that you're using this with, and that everything as much as possible is like all on the same switch. So it's great if your camera and your like control board and your computer are all hooked up to the same switch together. That's really going to give you the bandwidth and the performance that you need. But assuming you can do that, you can actually take a single cable from your switch, up to 300 feet is usually about the maximum, and run it to your camera. The nice thing is, like in our setup, we're able to mount our camera, leave the switch on the camera on, and then we're just switching the power on the PoE device, which means once the camera is set up, it's got its one cable run to it. We don't ever have to touch it again. So you can kind of put it up, you can put it out of the way, no climbing ladders to turn it on or, anything like that. So I want to take a few minutes and show you what a few of these technologies working together can do. Apparently there is great power in three-letter technologies, because if you combine PoE with NDI and dabble in a little bit of OBS, you can get multi-camera switching with nothing more than a camera or two and your computer. So let's hop over to the computer and let me show you how it works. Actually, before we hop over to the computer, I want to show you how this setup works with the cabling. I have a mock-up here on my desk. So you can see the only port we're actually going to worry about is our LAN port right there. And so I've got a standard